First things first, we got Coach Mangini back with us this morning. So on the night of the NFL draft, a very unhappy Lamar Jackson headed into the final year of his rookie deal. He'll have to do it without his number one receiver. He learned last night, like the rest of us, that the Ravens traded Hollywood Brown to the Arizona Cardinals. Lamar let the world know didn't sit well with him. Tweeted these 3 letters. Yeah, those are the 3. Nick, is this a big deal or no big deal?
Well, listen, Lamar's got to get over it. This was a great trade by Baltimore. This is why Baltimore is one of the best franchises in football. That Baltimore, every damn year, they're drafted in the mid or late first round. It's like, oh, they got the best safety. Oh, they got the best center. Oh, they got the 23rd pick for a guy who's not a top 23 receiver when A.J. Brown went for the 18th and a third. But Baltimore's smart. They did what I was talking about before. They did a deal with the suckers in the room. Arizona doesn't know what they're doing. They haven't known what they're doing for years. They're just like, they're doing the old Al Davis plan of team building, which is, when, rest in peace, Al Davis did some amazing things. But at one point in his career, it was just 40 time, 40 time. Like, hey, that's what Arizona needs. Another small, fast guy who's with some injury questions. It makes no sense. So, Coach, I think you're surprised by my take on this, but Lamar's a sharp guy. They've got to explain to Lamar, we can easily replace Hollywood Brown. We got the 23rd pick for him when A.J. Brown went for the 18th. A.J. Brown's 3 times the player that Hollywood Brown is. So, I look at Baltimore and Buffalo as the 2 real contenders in the AFC other than the Chiefs. And Baltimore they make all the smart decisions. So I think you got to explain that to Lamar. I think he'll get over it.
I have to say that I'm shocked, and I don't know what happened to you since we've met last. The idea that you would be okay with a wide receiver being traded for a center is mind-boggling.
Yeah,
I thought
in the
for
trenches,
sure that you would be so disappointed because Lamar doesn't have another weapon and we're not helping the quarterback. And I'm shocked
I don't think
you didn't want
Hollywood's
him
that good.
But I thought you'd want them to give Hollywood $25 million a year because he's a wide receiver and he's unhappy. Like that's typically the MO that we. But I love what they did here. They went and got a center from a place where they have a great relationship, obviously with Kirk Ferentz. He's known for producing really good offensive linemen. They've got him for 5 years. They don't have a great salary cap situation. They're in the bottom third of the league. They're gonna have to pay Lamar. And look, they're a running team. They run the ball 30 times a game. That's who they are. That's their identity. And the receivers aren't as big a part of that process as the offensive line is. It makes a ton of sense.
All right, look, this is strange because according to Eric DeCosta, the Ravens GM, Hollywood Brown wanted out. He asked him after the season to trade him. Now, he's close with Lamar, supposedly. So either Lamar knew that Hollywood Brown wanted out and was just in the moment, it hadn't happened for a few months. He hadn't been traded. Maybe he's thinking they're not going to end up trading him. And in the moment, he's shocked. And that was his tweet. Or Hollywood Brown, as close as they are, supposedly, didn't tell Lamar that he wants out because Lamar is a big part of the reason he wants out. Because as great as Lamar is, we know he's not one of the best passing quarterbacks in the league. And we've seen, what was it? Juju Smith-Schuster, T.Y. Hilton, Kenny Golladay. They all passed. As much as players love and respect Lamar, the receivers don't really want to play with him. And Hollywood Brown, who, like Nick said, is a good, not great receiver, he wanted out too because he's afraid I can't put up the big numbers that are going to get me the big, huge contract that these receivers are getting nowadays playing with Lamar. So, Wilds, to me, that is the potential problem, that these receivers don't really want to play with Lamar because they know they're not going to get the ball but so much.
So I think that's a fair point. The other potential problem here, and Coach, I want to throw this to you, is that there seems to be some sort of rift between Lamar and the Ravens organization. Now, look, I'm an old man, And when I was coming up in the industry, my boss, several of my bosses would sit me down, say, hey, welcome to your first day. Kevin Wilds, hello. And they would tell me, hey, no surprises. If anything's going a little bit sideways, I'm your boss, I want to know. And then when I eventually became a boss, I would tell everybody that I was sort of leading, hey, no surprises. I won't surprise you, you won't surprise me. We'll kind of do that. Now, we hear about Lamar being the face of the franchise, and we hear, CEO. Well, you just surprised your CEO, and he expressed displeasure to the world, and he retweeted something as well that says he was surprised by this. So to me, it seems like a big deal, where it was a big deal for Aaron Rodgers when they drafted Jordan Love, and they didn't tell him, and we spent weeks talking about it. Well, now they traded Hollywood Brown, and they didn't tell Lamar about it, and he went public with it in a more vociferous way than Aaron Rodgers did. So do you think this is a big deal or not a big deal, Coach?
No, I don't think it's a big deal. I would imagine he would be frustrated as much as organizationally you like the decision that they made because of the cap situation, the practicality of it, all those things. I'm sure Lamar doesn't view himself as a guy who is limited in terms of what he can do with wide receivers. That's not his perspective on things. And any quarterback wants to have guys that he can throw to. He can't throw to the center. He may be able to have a little bit more time because of it, but he is going to need some guys to throw to, especially on the outside of the offense. And that frustration, I imagine, is real because his perspective of things is different than necessarily what we're talking about.
I would say the bigger quarterback organization relationship that is a red siren light for me from this is Kyler in Arizona, because they did this because Kyler wanted them to do this. Reportedly, Kyler has accomplished a tenth of what Lamar's accomplished in this league. Seems to feel like he is, next in line, first in line for a contract that I would be terrified to give him. And Arizona, I think one of the reasons Lamar didn't get a heads up was this is the type of deal. I think DaCosta got the phone call, like, hold on, you're trading us. You want to trade it? The 23rd deal, done. Send it in. Call it in. No take back, no give backs. Like, they didn't have a lot of time. They were like, no. Send that card in, boys. They're going to give us the 23rd pick for Hollywood. So.
You learned it with Aaron Rodgers. Make the call. Send a text. Do it on WhatsApp. It takes 2 seconds. Coach, thank you. Love talking football with you. We got to get back to some basketball. With CP3's perfect night, a sign of things to come for Phoenix. We're back after this.